Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne, and I've been an art YouTuber for a long time. I've made hundreds of videos, and I've been doing this for about 3.5 years, which honestly surprises me to even say out loud. But despite all that time of being an artist on the internet, I know next to nothing about being a creative streamer, which is sort of the sister profession to the one that I have. So I thought I'd do a little experiment where I would stream on Twitch every day for a week in the art category and see what the differences are. Here's how it went. Let me know when I see you.
When you see me. When I see you? What?
So yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I was really nervous on the first day. I was stumbling over my words, I was talking really quietly and strained because I was super anxious to be live. That was the first and most obvious difference that I noticed between the two professions. There's really no way to edit out your mistakes, so you just have to keep going. And I was also really nervous to be on a new platform. Twitch is actually a very different ecosystem than YouTube, so I really felt like I was kind of starting from scratch. In the weeks before I started streaming, I did some research to see how other creative streamers run their streams and what they tend to do. One thing I noticed in particular is that a lot of people use creative streaming as a way to do other work, and they don't just make stuff. Like on YouTube, typically people are making stuff specifically for YouTube, and that is the only purpose of what they're making. But on Twitch, it seems like a lot of people are sort of multitasking. So following in the footsteps of Quizlings and Rubber Ninja, who respectively work on game design and animation, I decided to work on my comic. Partially because it just felt like something that was in my wheelhouse, and since I was pushing myself so far out of my comfort zone on this first day, I wanted to do something that felt easy. And I was honestly kind of worried that no one would show up to my stream, and I knew that I could draw my own comic without any input from the chat, so I thought it would be a safe option for that first day. So how many people did come on that first day? Well, here are my analytics. We had an average concurrent viewership of 71 people, which may seem like a really small amount compared to viewership on YouTube, but on Twitch that's actually pretty good. I was really surprised. I was also amazed at how many of the people who were there had followed me at one point on my Twitch, despite it being dead for 2 years. So after about 2.5 hours of streaming my comic, I had finished the first day, so I gave an awkward goodbye and I started trying to figure out the various problems and hiccups I had run into on that first day to try and improve the stream for day 2. Hey guys! This is the worst timing ever, but I think someone's hammering outside. Literally, like, right as I clicked start streaming, they started hammering. Hey! Day 2 had a lot of ups and downs. As you saw, the very first thing that happened when I started streaming after I'd already announced it was they started doing some sort of like construction on the house right next to mine, and it was so loud that the mic just kept picking it up. I also think this was probably the worst day I had for like camera and lighting. I don't know what was up, but I feel like my face just looked really weird on this day, and I was super self-conscious about it the entire stream, which was not a very good feeling. I'm not really used to having face cam on. I don't do it on my YouTube videos very often, and I was just feeling not that great about myself this day. So that was another big difference I noticed between YouTube and Twitch. On YouTube, it's pretty acceptable not to put your face in videos as long as the content is interesting, but I think on Twitch, just because it's live and there's going to be some lulls in conversation, if you don't have face cam, I think a lot of people like the stream a lot less, and I've seen on various different guides on how to do well on Twitch, it always says to do face cam if possible. So that was one of the biggest things that I noticed as well, just being sort of self-conscious and aware of the fact that my face was always on camera, and yeah, it was a little weird. On this day, I started to hit my stride though as far as being comfortable with talking to the chat, and we also got a lot more viewers this day. I decided to take requests, which was my first sort of like heavy involvement with the chat sort of experience, where basically I would allow a bot to randomly select someone from the chat, and then they would get to request a drawing of their OC or whatever else they wanted me to draw. It was really fun, and I honestly had a super great time with it, though I did notice that some people were getting very discouraged when they wouldn't get picked, but overall I do think it actually added a lot of energy into the chat and made it feel more like a two-way street. Here were my viewers on day 2. I got a big boost from announcing it on Instagram, and as a result, half of my viewership that day came from outside sources. Hey guys! I actually have somewhat of an idea of what we're gonna be doing today, so that's cool. I'm gonna warm up by drawing an emote and then we're gonna switch over to something else. On day 3, I wanted to try making some emotes, not only to warm up, but also because I realized I was probably going to hit affiliate on Twitch. And for those of you guys who don't know, affiliate is basically a middle ground between being totally like unaffiliated with Twitch and being a partner, where you do get to have a few emotes and people can subscribe, and it's just basically like being a partner but with slightly less involvement and time requirements. So I decided to make this thinking emotes, also because people on the Discord were asking for more, and it ended up being a really good way to warm up. A lot of creative streamers don't seem to warm up or do any kind of like simple drawings to start off with, but I've found that it helped me a lot, especially if I was streaming longer or doing stuff that was more challenging for me. To draw something really simple like that and just like sort of fun and chill really helps me get ready for drawing things that were going to be more complex. I decided to do requests again on this day just because a lot of people were asking for them, and I found that they were really enjoyable and fun to do when I didn't really have any ideas for anything else, because then basically I could just ask the chat for ideas and I'd have infinite requests to fulfill. So it ended up being a really great thing to revert to if I was ever feeling like I wasn't really sure where the stream should go. I'm really glad it's something I sort of discovered on the second day. I also made significant strides, I think, in the lighting and angle of my facecam camera. I felt a lot better about it than I had on the first 2 days, though the constant shifting of the light as the sun goes down is something I'm still figuring out today. One small improvement I made on day 3 was that I made my alerts a little bit smaller. They were quite large before, and I think it made the stream look a little more professional. I felt like on day 3 that I was really starting to recognize a lot of names in the chat, and I felt like I was building a community, which was really a nice surprise. It took a long time to feel that way on YouTube, and it was relatively quick on Twitch. On day 3, I announced it to all of the same places I did on day 2, and I ended up with slightly lower average viewers, but about the same. Apparently Wednesdays are notorious for lower viewership anyway, so I wasn't too worried about this slight dip. On day 4, I started to really get into the groove of Twitch's different ecosystem. I started listening to less copyright-safe music, more things that the chat could actually recognize, as well as I added the chat into the actual stream so that people could see when I was seeing messages, as well as just to add a little bit more to my whole layout. I noticed that a lot of other creative streamers have tons of peripheral stuff all around their streams, Doodle Date being one of my favorite examples of this. Oh, and by the way, anytime I reference anyone in this video, I'm going to have a link to them down in a pinned comment and probably in the description as well, just so that you can check out any of these streams if you're interested. Obviously, I'll have my own Twitch as well. But anyway, I felt like this day really kind of popped off for me. I was in sort of a good energetic mood, the light was good, and it was also my first stream with like a legitimate stream blooper. Alexa, you have the Pickle Boy fan art? Look, I'm gonna be checking.
Single. Thanks for asking me. Here's another fun thing.
Stop!
Try
Alexa,
asking
stop!
me to sing you a song.
Needless to say, having someone named Alexa in the chat has led to more than one Amazon jump scare. I started unplugging her before I start streaming just because it's been such a problem. I took requests again, which was really fun. I got a monster request, which was a little bit more unique than what I had been doing. And then I worked on an actual YouTube video for the first time on stream. Now, this was really weird because I've always been very separated from my community when I'm working on a video, because obviously I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys. I don't want you guys to see what I'm doing. I don't even really want you guys to know what it is that I'm working on. So it really felt totally counter to what I'm used to doing, to do all of this on stream, but it ended up being a really good time. It was like a very playful atmosphere. Everyone was just sort of hanging out, talking about their ideas for how to change these various costumes. There even became sort of an inside joke about the pickle costume that I was going to end up changing later on, and a whole bunch of people went from the stream into the Discord and made a bunch of really amazing Pickle Man fan art. It was just a really fun afternoon. I didn't end up doing the whole video on stream because I started to get tired and I had already promised to do requests at the end. So I closed it off with a few requests, and here are the analytics for that day. It went really well and I streamed for ages. On the final day, I was honestly kind of sad that the challenge was over. I just wanted to sort of simulate to myself what it would be like to be a full-time creative streamer, and it was way easier than I thought it would be to get all 5 days, just because I found it so fun to be live and to talk to people while I was drawing, though it definitely was cutting severely into my YouTube drawing time. I thought if I did any less than every weekday, it wouldn't be an accurate sort of representation of what it would be like to be a full-time creative streamer, because streamers do have to be online a lot. They have a lot of work hours. Though one of the things that really surprised me at the end of this challenge was the fact that it didn't actually feel like many more hours than what I do for YouTube. I think that's primarily just because when I'm streaming, obviously I don't have to speed anything up. I'm doing everything live, and then I don't have to edit afterwards either. So I actually end up thinking that if I was a full-time creative streamer, I'd probably work around the same hours, maybe even less than working on YouTube, which was a real surprise to me just because it did seem like streamers had to do so many extra hours. Though I'm only taking a guess, I don't actually know how much streaming I would have to do to make it my living because I only was able to do this for a week. Excitingly, we did become affiliate pretty much right after this week happened, which was really, really cool and very lucky. In times in the past when I've tried to stream on YouTube or just in Twitch in the past, I have lost my voice and been extremely exhausted afterwards, but I feel like I finally understand what live streaming is supposed to be like. It's a lot more relaxed and a lot more like hanging out with people than it is something where you're constantly supposed to be pushing yourself to the limit to be as entertaining every second as possible. And I think that's the difference that I really appreciate the most between YouTube and Twitch. Though I will always love YouTube and I'm going to stay on this platform. Just to be clear, I'm not like abandoning ship or anything. So here was my final day's analytics. I let everyone on YouTube know through my community page that I was streaming, so it ended up being my biggest day. And it was really exciting and fun. It ended up not being too much to handle, which I really appreciated. If you want to go back and watch any of the streams you missed, the VODs are still available for a little bit of time on my Twitch. And if you want to be notified when I stream, the best way to do that is to follow me on Twitch. I mostly draw, but I've also done a little bit of scary game stuff. I show my pet rats on stream from time to time, so if any of that sounds fun to you, feel free to follow me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was entertaining and interesting for you guys. If you're interested in being a streamer or an art YouTuber, I hope this helps you sort of decide between the two if that's a conundrum that you're having. And I'll see you next time. Thank you to all my patrons, including Bella Story, Braggy, Koppelpun Lion, Clockwork Construct, Dr. Casket, Alaria Louie, Elizabeth Albumgray, The Animator, Hachiubi, Yara Formoso, Imagine Creation, Ivan Rodriguez, JJJ, Joseph Kopel, Katie Alina, Liblibla, Micah Dactyl, Mr. Dr. Pants, Naoto Kamigire, Nora Cornelison, Ollie, Pixel Badlands, Reddit, Rosie Warlock, Rudy, Sergeant Pendulum, Some Mediocre Artists, The Artsy Moosey Boyesty, and Zoe Stardust.